Curiosities about Iceland that will leave you frozen or wanting to travel. Welcome to Iceland, a country where nature reigns with its wild beauty, where fire and ice shake hands, and where Viking legends come to life. On this trip, we will discover some curiosities that make Iceland a unique place in the world. The land of the elves. Iceland is a country where tradition and magic mix. It is said that 50% of the population believes in the existence of elves, magical beings that live in the mountains, forests, and waterfalls. There is even a special office to mediate conflicts between humans and elves. A curious fact is that Icelandic grass-roofed houses are not only beautiful, they also help keep heat inside during the winter. The midnight sun. During the summer, Iceland experiences a unique natural phenomenon, the midnight sun. The sun doesn't set for weeks, creating a magical and surreal atmosphere. In winter, the night is illuminated by the northern lights, a colorful light show that dances in the sky. Iceland is a country full of geysers, hot springs, and active volcanoes. You can relax in one of the many natural hot water pools, or even take a swim in a blue lagoon surrounded by volcanic lava. Iceland is a country of extreme contrasts. In the same day, you can experience sun, rain, snow, and wind. In fact, the Icelandic weather is so unpredictable that there is a saying, "If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes." Icelandic gastronomy is unique and surprising. Some of their most famous dishes are fermented shark, skyr, an Icelandic yogurt, and kleiner, a fried donut-like pastry. A paradise for adventurers. Iceland is a paradise for lovers of nature and adventure. You can go hiking, climbing, skiing, snowboarding, kayaking, and much more. More sheep than people. In Iceland, there are more sheep than people. In fact, there are about 500,000 sheep and only 350,000 inhabitants. A very peculiar language. The Icelandic language is very peculiar and difficult to learn. It does not have many words borrowed from other languages and has preserved many Old Norse words. No standing army. Iceland is one of the few countries in the world that does not have a standing army. Instead, it has a small coastal defense force. Of course, it is a member of NATO and they have a defense agreement with the United States. The greatest gender equality in the world. Iceland is the most gender-equal country in the world, according to the World Economic Forum. The world's first parliament. The world's first parliament, the Althing. It was founded in Iceland in the year 930 after Christ. A volcanic island. Iceland is a volcanic island located on the mid-Atlantic ridge. This means that there is a lot of volcanic activity in the country. In Western Europe, Iceland stands out as the only country without a McDonald's chain restaurant. Another curious fact is that the majority of the population lives in the capital. More than 60% of Iceland's population lives in the capital, Reykjavik. Iceland has a great musical tradition. The country is known for its folk music, pop music, and electronic music. Low crime rate. One of the lowest crime rates in the world. This means that there is very little violent crime or robbery. Therefore, Iceland is one of the safest countries in the world. Iceland is also a paradise for bird lovers. More than 300 different species of birds can be observed in the country. However, if you like ants, you won't find them here. A specialist explains that Iceland has such icy surfaces that it does not allow the insects the necessary time to lay their eggs, larvae, and for the biological cycle to be completed. Virtually unlimited renewable energy. Thanks to its special conditions, Iceland obtains almost all of its energy from renewable sources, such as geothermal energy and hydroelectric energy. If you are thinking about traveling, keep in mind that it is one of the most expensive countries in the world. not only for tourists, as the cost of living is very high, especially in the capital Reykjavik. Its economy is small but open and diversified. Iceland's GDP per capita is one of the highest in the world, comparable to that of the Nordic countries and other developed countries. Its culture is truly special. Iceland has a unique culture that has been preserved over the centuries. The country has a rich tradition of folklore, music, and literature. Despite being a country with a relatively small population, it has become one of the countries that best welcomes immigrants in the world. Focus on social welfare. Iceland has a strong social security system that provides its citizens with access to education, health, and housing. Iceland is a magical country that will surprise you with its incredible landscapes, its unique culture, and its ancient traditions. If you are looking for a different trip, Iceland is a destination that you should take into account. Did you know that they had a law that allowed Basques to be killed? The law, dated 1615, allowed Basques to be killed in the West Fjords district of Iceland. The law was promulgated by King Christian IV so that his neighbors would persecute the Basque whalers who had just suffered a shipwreck. And boy, did they do it. They killed 32, the largest massacre in Icelandic history. On April 22, 2015, a reconciliation ceremony was held in Reykjavik. They placed a plaque on a rock. The Icelandic and Vipuscone authorities gave their respective speeches. A descendant of the murderers and another of the murdered hugged and read poems. Whether you are a Star Wars fan or a follower of Game of Thrones, you should know that Iceland is the new favorite destination for the Hollywood industry to film their movies, thanks to its impressive and wild landscapes. Beaches of black volcanic sand in front of steep cliffs, mountains covered in snow 365 days a year, and glaciers that occupy almost half of the country's total territory make Iceland a country with exceptional natural beauty and spectacularity. Traveling to Iceland by motorhome can be an unforgettable adventure. Touring Iceland by motorhome or camper gives you unparalleled freedom to explore its epic landscapes at your own pace. Imagine waking up next to a glacier, enjoying a thermal bath under the stars, or cooking your dinner overlooking a waterfall. Driving on Icelandic roads is an experience in itself, winding between volcanic mountains, lava fields, and black sand beaches. We leave you some tips for traveling to Iceland. To make the most of your trip, we recommend planning it in advance. Book accommodation and transportation, rent a car to move around freely, and prepare for the changing weather with appropriate clothing. What are the best things to do in Iceland? This country invites you to live an adventure like no other. Tour the Golden Circle, admire nature in the highlands, sail through the Jökulsárlón Lagoon, and relax in the Blue Lagoon. If you travel in winter, see the northern lights. Drive the ring road, hike, watch whales, explore ice caves, and ride horses. Discover Reykjavik, try the local cuisine, and participate in a festival. Iceland offers unique experiences for all tastes, but especially for adventure lovers. The best advice for traveling and discovering Iceland is to create your own itinerary and live your own adventure. We want to know what places you think or would like to visit in Iceland, so write it in the comments. If you are liking this video, support our channel with a like and subscribe if you are not already by activating the bell so you don't miss any more visual journeys. Now that we have come this far, we want to share with you an ancient Icelandic story so that you can learn more about the Nordic soul. The Secret of Elfaborg, an Icelandic tale. In the heart of Iceland's eastern fjords, where the waves crash furiously against the rocky coast and the wind whispers through the mountains, lies a small town called Vatnajökull, a magical place protected by the imposing presence of Elfaborg, the mountain of the elves. Legend has it that the queen of the elves herself lives in the caves of Elfaborg, a creature of incomparable beauty and ancient wisdom. It is said that she looks after the well-being of the town, guiding its inhabitants in difficult times and protecting them from dangers. One day, a young man named Ottar, fascinated by stories about the Queen of the Elves, decided to venture into the mountains to meet her. Following a path hidden in the fog, he ascended the rocky slope until he reached the entrance to a cave. Her beauty was as radiant as the northern lights, and her voice as soft as birdsong. The queen smiled at Ottar and said, "Your bravery has brought you here. Tell me, what do you wish?" With his heart pounding, Ottar stepped into the darkness. The cave was deep and cold, and only the sound of their footsteps echoed in the silence. Suddenly, a dim light illuminated the path, and before his eyes, the Queen of the Elves appeared. Ottar, moved by his presence, replied, "I only wish to know the wisdom of the elves and learn to live in harmony with nature." The queen, pleased by his noble desire, entrusted him with the secrets of nature, teaching him to listen to the language of animals, to understand the power of plants, and to respect the balance of the world. Returning to Vatnajökull, Ottar became a protector of nature and a guide to others. It transmitted the teachings of the Queen of the Elves, inspiring everyone to live in harmony with the land. And so the legend of Elfaborg and the wisdom of the Queen of the Elves remain alive in the heart of Vatnajökull, a small town where magic and reality mix in a landscape of incomparable beauty. Thanks for getting here. See you on the next adventure, passionate travelers.